You know what they say about women? There are no 10s, only perfect 9s. Well, I'm thinking kind of radio's the same way. Hear me out before you go all butthurt on me. The FTDX10 that I've got here. Beautiful radio. Love it. Having a great time getting to know this beast. And it is a beast. The thing just performs very, very well. But it ain't a perfect 10. I don't know if there is such thing as a perfect 10. We're going to talk about, 8 things that I hate about the Yaesu FTDX10. This time on K6UDA Radio. Let's do this. So guys, again, today we're going to talk about things that I'm not so wild about on the FTDX10. These are pretty much a lot of the same things that I wasn't wild about on the 7300. One of them I wish was more like the 7300. But before we begin, you know what, guys? Please, I beg of you, give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notification right next to the subscribe button, because maybe that'll help you learn when I'm putting out videos. Lord knows YouTube isn't helping me. Also, if you're a first responder and you've got a patch, challenge coin, a hat badge for me, something like that, the address to send it all to is right there, right over there. Also, gotta comment, post a comment, or if you've got a question that you want answered in a video, shoot me a freaking email. It's right there at the bottom. Also, gotta take a moment here and pitch the new show. If you're a 2A fan, the 2 Alpha Ham Radio podcast, almost exclusively on Rumble. And if you want that 705 meter, you've got a 705. You want that extra little meter. Still giving that away once I hit 1,000 subscribers over on Rumble. rumble.com/K6UDA. So guys, like I was saying, there are things about this radio, the FTDX10, that I'm not so wild about. I don't know if I'd call it hate. Hate is a very, very strong word. Okay, there's a few things maybe I hate, but not much. But we'll get into that. Yeah. Let's get into that right now. The FTDX10 has a fantastic VFO setup. It has the standard outer knob, and I can do that in standard, I think like 5 or 10 hertz. I could do 1 hertz in the fine mode. Could take it out of the fine mode. On the inside VFO ring, I could run 100 kilohertz. Well, there's 100 kilohertz. I could run 100 hertz. There's a lot of times where I would love to switch the function of both of these. I would love to be able to stick my finger in here and run that up I can do 100 kilohertz, but this is much more efficient to do it like that. I would love to be able to switch these two functions, even temporarily. You know, on a big juicy band like 10 meters, using the VFO like this can take forever. Well, you know, you can definitely use the inner ring move it a little bit faster. But if I wanted to go into, say, the upper portion of the band where all the repeaters and FM and all that good stuff is at, well, that's where this step button comes in real handy. Makes it move very, very quickly. Yeah, it kind of makes me miss that single VFO knob on the 7300. Another thing that I'm not so wild about on the FTDX10, and I get it, they were trying to make a small machine, but really, all this is very, very tight, and if I had bigger fingers or less dexterity, this would be a problem. How many times have I ever wanted to put two antennas, a vertical and a horizontal, on the radio without having to use an external tuner or some kind of external device to split the antenna inputs? This would be really nice, especially if you could hook up like a diversity antenna. Yaesu uses this 4-pin connector here for power, for DC in. Now, why can't Yaesu get on board with modern technology and start using things like power poles that would fit directly into a power source for all their HF radios? I've got 3 USB ports here, which means I have 3 different inputs that I can use. This one goes to the computer, and that works WSJTX, it works my Mac logger, works everything else. A mouse, a keyboard. Why can't I split my UARTs? Because they're already there. They're already built into this. Why can't I split these and instead of using a mouse and a keyboard, which I do sometimes, why can't I run both Mac logger and WSJTX at the same time and have them both control different aspects of the radio? While I really appreciate the fact that Yaesu has gone and put an external display port on the back of the FTDX10, why? Why does it have to be this archaic DVI port? I mean, the rest of the free world has moved on to HDMI, and they'll probably be on to something new in the next 2 years. You could do it a lot more like the ICOM 7300 does, which uses the, never mind. Let's say I want to make my own CQ. If I want to call CQ. You see, I'm not transmitting. Transmit light's not on. I have to take my entire screen up by doing this. I really don't like that. That's the same thing with the 7300. You got to give up your waterfall display, basically, to have your message memory. And you're taking up the same real estate with the voice keyer. I picked up one of these. This is the FH2 controller, and now I can
CQ, Kilo 6 Uniform Delta Alpha, K6 UDA, calling CQ and listening.
So I can
CQ10,
I can have all of my CQ messages.
Delta Alpha, K6 UDA, CQ contest.
And I could turn it off. If I turn this thing back over to CW, very easily. Now, I do appreciate the fact that this plugs into the remote port on the back of the radio very quickly. And yes, there's a remote port on the back of the 7300. In all the years that I owned a 7300, I never once heard of anything like the FH2. Now, the other thing that I really enjoy about this is the fact that, hey, instead of going here into message and having that display sitting over everything and not being able to actually see the spectrum scope. I could run this spectrum scope.
CQ.
Boom. All right. While the little FH2 took care of the biggest bitch I had with this radio and the 7300 when I'm doing contesting, it is freaking expensive. My lord, man, $100 for a switch. Yeah, I know. There's guys out there cloning these things for a fraction of the price. But do I want a hacked up PlayStation controller next to my really nice radio? Okay, one last thing to bitch about. I would really love to see the FTDX10 have the capacity to do metering like this. I really want to be able to see all the ALC, compression, SWR, the temperature of the rig, all in one screen. Unless I'm missing something in the instructions, as it is right now, I can have my choice between any of these metering functions up at the top, but I just can't take the waterfall away and have it work all together like the ICOM can. Now, why in the world would I want to do that, you ask? Well, if I'm doing a POTA or doing a contest and I'm running and calling CQ, I don't necessarily need to see what's on the waterfall. I need to see what all my metering is doing. All right, so that's it. Those are my big bitches about the FTDX10. A month into owning the thing. Some of these things I think Yaesu could incorporate in software because, hey, it is pretty much an SDR radio. Anything can go on that. I know things like a second antenna connection. Those are things for higher end radios. I get it. Is what it is. Anyway, guys, if you have a major bitch about the FTDX10 that you want to chime in about, hey, I invite you to do it in the comments below. I will see you next time. I'm Bob, K6UDA. I'm out of here. 7-3.